One-on-one with Roy Buchanan on this Sonic Obsession. Hi, folks. I'm John Whidden. Right over there is Steve McLeod. And before we get going with the show today, we want to shout out a huge congratulations to the men's Olympic hockey team, Canadian men's Olympic hockey team, of course, who just defeated Finland to move ahead to the gold medal game on Sunday. We're actually recording this on Friday, so it'll be a couple of days away. Anyway, we want to also send our best wishes to everybody on the team, everybody associated with the team, and a huge good luck from Halifax and from us and everybody we know, and looking forward to a really good game on Sunday. We don't know who they're going to play yet, what team, but it's going to be a barn burner. I can assure you that, because so far they all have been barn burners, including the women's games as well.
Yeah, they're a little hard to take on if you've got heart issues or stroke issues or stuff like that. Like I literally,
You may not be around much longer in your present self,
in
right?
my present state, yeah.
Present state, yeah.
Yeah, I just take it way too seriously. I get too wound up, and I literally at the end of games get calls and texts from people. Are you still alive? Are you okay? And all, because I have a reputation for really getting nervous and over anxious over these, what is silliness ultimately, but
well, it is and it isn't. It's a distraction, and I think in today's world it's a welcome distraction. And I mean, these guys and women, they put their heart and soul into these
they
games.
really
And
do.
that's not just the Canadian team, that's everybody associated with it, because it is top drawer hockey. I mean, you can't deny that. But anyway, best of luck. We've really enjoyed the game so far and looking forward to the game on Sunday. We'll be watching it and looking for a really good outcome. Anyway, let's get on with
Roy
Buchanan. So anyway, we did a show a week or so ago about Roy. And in that show, I mentioned an interview that I'd done with him in 1981 at the Misty Moon in Halifax. And I really enjoyed doing the interview, really enjoyed meeting Roy and talking to him. Anyway, I got a hold of the interview. It was on a cassette, and my old friend Duncan Moss, who is a wizard when it comes to sprucing up old video and old audio tapes, cleaning them up and making them sound really good, jumped in and he helped us out. And so we've got a really good quality interview with Roy from an old cassette. So we thought we would run it, and hopefully people will enjoy it. As I say, it's dated. It was done in '81. Unfortunately, Roy did pass away, but a lot of the material that we talk about is
not
dated.
during the interview. Though.
Not during the interview. No. He played for a few years after that. But it was a fun interview. Let us know what you think about the interview and playing. We've done this a couple of times, but let us know if you enjoy hearing these old interviews. And I mean, they really come from the Whidden archives, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it, which is basically a couple of boxes in the garage. But it's Roy Buchanan from 1981 on this Sonic Obsession.
Who were some of the people that you listened to when you first got started? You mentioned blues, so I would take it to probably be some of the older blues greats, would it?
I listened to all of them, back then. My dad, he would listen to. He had this guitar player. He died like in the 20s or 30s. Blind Boy, something or other.
Blind Boy Fuller?
Yeah, you got it. That's it. Yeah, and he had like the Blacks recordings of gospel music, and they were actually the first blues that I heard. And then later on, naturally, you hear B.B. King and T-Bone Walker, Jimmy Nolan, Right
so the music was not only outside the house, but it was also inside the house as well.
Yeah.
You backed up Dale Hawkins with a big hit with Susie Q. Did you play on Susie Q, or was that before or after?
No, I was with Hawkins right after he recorded Susie Q. I traveled with him for 3 years, a little over 3 years, and I did several recordings with him. And we did My Babe. That was about 57. I recorded with Dale on My Baby, and there was 2 or 3 other ones that it's in the top 100, But anyway, I met Dale first. We had a TV show in Oklahoma City, and we used to back up different artists. And he came into town, and we backed him up. And he said, I'd like go to Louisiana, you know. He's doing the Louisiana hayride. I said, great, you know. So that's how I got hooked up with Dale.
Some of the other people that you've worked with, Jerry Lieber, Mike Stoller, responsible for some of the all-time great R&B stuff, Benny King, the Drifters.
Hmm.
Did you work with any of these people, like Benny King and the Drifters, with Lieber and Stoller?
At that particular time, they asked me if I'd wanted to be a studio guy, you know, and I really wasn't particularly interested in it. I told them I was supposed to play on. They wrote one called on Broadway. I was supposed to have been the original guitar player on the first one, but I was a goof off even back then, and I don't know what happened. I got high or drunk or something, and I didn't show up, you know. Which I'm still sorry I didn't do it because I love the song, you know.
Some of the newer guitarists like Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck have mentioned you numerous times as being a big influence. But where they got their influence was off of bootleg records, I guess, and tapes that they picked up. Because you really didn't do much recording before the '70s on your own, did you?
In the 50s, I did quite a bit, but it was all mostly blues, and it was only released usually in Europe, you know, and because who'd buy the blues over here, and, you know, and over there they looked at it like it was an art form, you know, and I was trying to think. The first blues thing we did. It was a 58 at the time. We put out, it was the first time I recorded after hours, you know. And there were several, I can't remember half the things that we did do, you know, like we did a psychedelic version of Mule Train in 59. It wasn't released any place except Europe. I go over there, you know, and they come to see me for the things I did in the 50s, not the things I'm doing in the 70s, you know. Most of them come and they have the old records, you know.
Did you do any touring in Europe to back up the recordings that were being released there?
Well, back then, I was being lied to quite a bit because I wasn't aware that they were releasing any of my material anyplace, you know. And I didn't know that I could have toured Europe until I went over there in the 70s. I was working bars and thinking I didn't have any records out, you know, because every record I'd record, they would say, well, it's okay, but it won't sell, you know. And I never knew they were released. So,
Robbie Robertson is of course your friend. You played with him a few years ago. He called you the first great rock guitarist he'd ever heard. What was your relationship with Robbie?
we were real good friends. You know, I was working with Dale Hawkins at the Le Coq Door, I believe they call it back then, in Toronto. And Ronnie came by. You know, he told me that his guitar player Fred Carter was leaving, and he knew this young guy named Rob Robinson that had real good potential. You know, but at that point he hadn't had any experience. You know, and he asked me if I would play with his group until Rob got the feel of the thing. You know, so I worked with him maybe a month, something like that. We became real good friends. I haven't seen him in years. We did a show with Grateful Dead and Levon though last summer.
Do you ever hope to maybe work someday with Robbie?
Yeah, I'd love to see Robbie. I hear he's doing pictures now, movies. I don't know exactly what he is doing. I haven't heard from him in a while.
From listening to your albums and seeing you on stage, for me, the thing that I got listening to some of the younger guitar players like Jeff Beck and Clapton and Page and even Keith Richards of the Rolling Stone, I can see that they've borrowed a few things from you. Do you feel the same way yourself?
Well, I've heard a lot of my licks come across the waters. Yeah, I hear my licks on top 40 even. You know, it's a compliment. You know.
Have you ever played with any of these people?
Let's see. I played with Beck. I played with let's see, a guy who plays with Allman Brothers, Dickie Betts.
Dickie Betts?
Yeah. Uh, Matter of fact, Dwayne Allman used to come in the Crossroads when I was working in D.C. Him and Jerry Garcia. I played with Garcia, Larry Coryell, people like that.
What was it like to work with Dwayne Allman?
I never actually worked with him. This was when I was still in clubs and I was not having too much, you know, wasn't really getting out and setting any world records, you know. I just remember meeting him a couple times. Jerry Garcia that came in, said this Dwayne Allman. That particular time, I didn't know who Dwayne Allman was. You know, it wasn't until later on that you know I connected the name. I said, "But yeah, Dwayne Allman. Yeah, that's the guy who used to come out the Crossroads. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite guitar player of yourself right now? Somebody that maybe is new in the scene?
I think Ray Gomez is really, really good.
Well, you worked with Ray Gomez, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. There's so many good guitar players. You know, it'd be hard for me to actually pinpoint any particular one, but I'm really impressed with Ray Gomez's playing.
What do you think of this whole category they put a lot of people in, guitar heroes like Clapton, like Page, like Beck? Do you think it's warranted?
That they are heroes, like
Do you think they are looked upon as heroes because they have taken so much of what they're doing, and they've borrowed from people like you and people like Freddie Cannon and other people like that?
well, that's a pretty tough question. I look up to people like B.B. King more so myself because I always thought it was sort of strange that you know they uh, uh, they don't have an English accent when they sing the blues.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect him and I love him. You know, possibly the white people would have never found out in the United States if what the blues was if it hadn't been for the English.
Your music over the years, the music that I'm familiar with anyway, it started off pretty bluesy, and then you moved into some other things like "We're All Alone." Was kind of like a progressive album with Ray Gomez and
Mhm.
Jean Russell, and then now you're back to, it seems to be more of a rocky approach. What do you consider yourself? Do you consider yourself a blues guitarist or a rock guitarist, or do you think there's much difference for that matter?
Blues and rock to me, I've always thought was basically the same thing, and especially the younger rock, like back in the '50s, you know, because I went from playing blues as soon as rock and roll came on the scene. I played the blues and it fit right in, you know. It's the same thing.
In your act, I noticed you play a little Hendrix. Do you yourself learn from any of the younger people, like Hendrix and some of the others we've mentioned?
Hendrix was like he did things that nobody's ever done on guitars. You know, like I think he was an electronical genius. You know, he was a Les Paul of the '60s. You know, really admired him and loved him.
What do you think was unique about Hendrix?
Oh God, the guy, you know, it's all him. Everything that he did, you know, was like using the feedback, and he made it an art. You know, most people will, you know, they used to try to, you know, get us stop them doing it. Say, hey, get that noise. We can't record that. You know, and here this guy comes along and makes music with it. You know, his writing, his, you know, playing ability is. He's also a great artist too. Yeah, I've seen some of his paintings.
On your album covers and different stories I've heard, you treasure the Telecaster. I think it's a 52 Telecaster, isn't it?
I got a 52 and I got a 53. I don't bring them on the road anymore because at the times you know I picked those guitars up, they wasn't worth much money. As a matter of fact, I got the 53 that's on all my album covers. I got it out of a hawk shop. You know, paid maybe $40 for it. Now then, they're at, you know, like 2 grand and sometimes even more. You know, so I don't bring them on the road anymore.
You still use them in the studio, I take it,
Yeah,
do you?
yeah. That's the only time I play them at either home or in a recording studio. Uh, the guitar that I carry on the road, I don't care if it gets tore up or lost or stolen, because you know, I just go in the music store and get another one. You know.
Do those guitars, the 52 and the 53 Tele, do they have a special feeling for you? Do you have a special feeling towards them?
Yeah. Telecaster was the first electric guitar I ever had, and I made the mistake of trading it in on a Stratocaster. You know, the first one, and I was really sorry for that. And whenever I got the money again, you know, I went back to Telecaster. But I always liked the screaming like quality that had the clearness. You know, the Gibsons are they're they might have more meat on them, be chunkier, but you know they won't slice like a Tele. I don't think any other guitar does. At least none I've ever found.
There was a rumor floating around after Brian Jones left the Stones and the Rolling Stones, and then a couple of months later he died. There was a rumor floating around that you were one of the people asked to join the Stones. Is that true?
Yeah, Charlie Daniels was my manager at the time.
Charlie Daniels,
Yeah,
the fiddle player and singer?
yeah, and actually, he was managed me, and they approached him and asked if I'd be interested in it. You know, and at that particular time, I was starting to make a little headway myself, and I want to do a few of my own things. I didn't really feel like a Rolling Stone, to be quite honest with you.
You ever think about that decision, not joining them? Does it ever bug you in one way or the other, or are you glad you never joined them?
Uh, I never think about one way or the other, to be honest with you. Not only that, the guy that took the job quit.
Mm.
Actually, I'm sure it would make me more popular. A lot more people have heard of me. I'm asked a question all the time. I never. The only time it ever comes to my mind really is like when I'm being interviewed, And no, I'm not sorry that I didn't go with them. I like what I'm doing.
What about the money aspect of it?
I think keeping my sanity is more important than
Mm.
having that money. That they keep a hard pace going. I'm not like Keith. I can't stay up for 9 days without eating.
So Roy Buchanan is not someone who's out to make a lot of money. He's just out to play his guitar and the way he wants to play it.
Yeah, well, everybody likes money. As long as I, make a decent living, I'm satisfied. Yeah, I like playing the music that releases my attention and things that that I like to play.
You're still living in Washington, D.C., aren't you?
Yeah.
When you think of someone living in Washington, D.C., that seems to be off the beaten track for rock and roll capitals. Is it your place to escape, or is it just home and you like to keep it that way?
Well, I moved there in about '64. There was a lot of blues clubs back in the '60s, on 14th Street and things. Like I used to work with Big Al Downing and all the Black Cats, And I liked the musical scene at the time. It's changed since now, though. And now that it's just like an escape for me. I got a little farm out in the country, actually, about an hour and a half away from D.C. now. It's an escape now. And all those places that used to have the blues and things, they got these nudie shows and all that stuff now.
Do you miss that? Do you miss the amount of blues clubs that there used to be?
Yeah, I miss the old days. Yeah, I really, like some of the entertainers there was just like great.
Why do you think it's changed, Roy? Because blues is probably more popular now than it's ever been. I mean, on a commercial basis, as far as reaching as many people as it is, it's never been more popular.
I guess people like naked bodies better than they like the blues. Yeah, I really don't know. I guess they make more money, like by showing the nudie films, and they probably don't pay much money for it. And even though those people play blues, they got to get paid, And that's probably the reason.
Who are some of the people you're listening to right now? Do you have any favorite bands or favorite artists that you're listening to?
I like Foreigner, Supertramp. They're about my two favorites. I know everybody says, "Where you coming from?" Listening to them. I think they're really good. I like the way they put it together in the studio. I like the sound.
Roy, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.